Welcome to Spartan Up Podcast. This is an absolutely awesome episode. We're at Citi Field, lots of energy already with the Spartan Stadium race here. But not only do we have an incredible guest, we have Kelly Leveque, Be Well by Kelly. This woman is a powerhouse. She's a dietitian to the stars, nutritionist to the stars, I should say. Really powerful person, but she makes it so simple. That's the greatest thing is you can take this apply it to your life because she makes things so simple. Speaking of simple, Joe De Sena, somehow his beautiful wife is with us, Courtney.
What does it have to do with simple?
Joe De Sena.
Well, speaking of simple,
who do we have on the panel? We got Joe, we got Courtney, the
Our
new
distinguished
CEO of Spartan.
Courtney,
We got
the new CEO.
Brilliant and
Sefra,
courageous.
the seed huntress, and we've got Johnny Waite, the doctor. What do we do here?
Spartan Up Podcast. We are your grit and resiliency partners. We're with you 6 days a week now. The original group, the OGs, who are here every Tuesday with great interviews, but there are also other experts, specialists who come to you the other days of the week to rip you off your couch, get you out there acting powerfully. We want you to subscribe. We want you to engage, comment, share with your friends and family because we want to rip them off the couch too. 100 million people. We're changing lives.
But we kicked Colonel Nye off our couch because we wanted Courtney with us.
I'm so sorry, Colonel.
Stick around.
Thank you for letting me be here.
Stick around till the end because at the end we are going to do what?
We are going to sit and chat about Kelly and all the wonderful things she taught us. So stick around and come back, and we'll see you there.
This episode of Spartan Up is brought to you by Balm Active. Trust Balm Active for proven pain relief. Get new Balm Active in gel, rub, and convenient spray.
Or look for Balm Active at select CVS and Rite Aid locations. Pain happens.
Suffering is optional.
All right, we are here for the Spartan Up Podcast in the mountains of Malibu with Kelly Leveque. You're like nutritionist to the superstars, right? You're out here.
I'm the help.
You're the help. And the website is Be Well by Kelly?
Be Well by Kelly.
You had a really easy upbringing, you said. You grew up in
did.
Orange County. Is that like the richest, wealthiest place in the country?
I wouldn't say that, but it's suburbia at its finest. The cul-de-sac. I have two younger sisters. My parents have been married for 40 plus years.
Everything went according to plan.
According to plan.
So the problem I have with that, but maybe you're proving me wrong, is I feel like when kids have a tougher time growing up and they've got to kind of navigate things, that makes them stronger and more resilient and better. But you're disproving my argument.
Well, I think it also comes down to parenting. So I wasn't. I grew up and I was given a lot of things, but at a certain point in time, I was always challenged by my dad, and I was cut off the minute I turned 18 years old.
Cut off completely.
It was important. It was something that I knew was coming down the pipe.
When did he start saying, hey, Kelly, just so you know, when you're 18, you're moving out of the house, so I'm giving you this tent and no more money?
Yeah. In high school, I knew that was coming, and I knew that the day that I graduated, that I would be responsible for myself, that he wasn't coming in to save me, that I was going to learn to be resilient. And he made, he was a serial entrepreneur. He made all my sisters and I work. And
prior to 18.
So we had to work in any one of his businesses or go get a job on our own. And it was more just to learn. To
survive.
Yeah. And
because in the animal kingdom, the mama would push the cubs out.
My parents pushed us out. We and it was, I wasn't given a car on my 16th birthday. My dad, one of his businesses was a towing company, and so we worked and we would earn, $15, $10 an hour, $5, whatever minimum wage was. And then my dad's towing company would have an auction every Tuesday. And he's like, well, whatever you earn, you can come to the tow yard and try to buy your first car. So it was always a life lesson on you have to learn how to survive, and you have to be resilient, and you have to be a hustler. And my dad was always a hustler. And it's funny because I know this comes from my dad. He had 8 brothers and sisters, and his brothers were both professionals, an accountant and an attorney. And my dad went to community college, went to Vietnam, came back, borrowed $5,000 from his brother, applied, got into University of Wisconsin, and then started being a scrappy entrepreneur. And his dad always thought, that wasn't good enough. And now today, my dad, is way more successful than his professional brothers.
I hope they don't watch this.
But it just shows that like grit and
resilience
and resilient, and just pushing every single day.
It's really more important.
It's more important, and you can have what you want, and you can be successful doing things that you love. You don't have to fall into this cookie cutter mold of like what does a professional career look like.
So it makes more sense, and now that you said he went to Vietnam, it makes more sense that he would take his daughters and say, hey, you're out at 8. I mean, obviously he was going to be there as a safety net, and he loved you guys.
And he's saved us a couple of times in dire needs, but it was always like, okay, well, like, show me what's going on in your life and how I can support you, and then you're going to show me how you're going to repay me, or it was always a life lesson there, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so what do you do when you get kicked out of the house? Like what?
So I knew that was happening, and so I went and got a job at Nordstrom's, which people are like, why would you get that job? Well, it was a commission-based job at 18 years old, which I don't know very many other companies that would do that. And if I'm going to put the work in, I'm going to work extra hard, and I'm going to get paid for it. So I worked through college at Nordstrom's, and I sold a number of shoes.
Nice.
And then
nice. Did it change your perception of like, are you a shoe crazy person right now?
You know what? Actually, especially living in LA, and I work with a lot of women who love fashion. I actually rent a lot of my clothes. So I belong to Rent the Runway, and I just rent clothes.
That's awesome, because I saw the movie Heat. I don't know if you remember that movie with Al Pacino and Val Kilmer. And there's a scene where Robert De Niro and Val Kilmer are looking out at the ocean in their beautiful house, and De Niro has no furniture. And he's like, you got to be able to move on a dime. And at that moment, when I saw that movie many years ago, I thought, I want to rent everything.
Yeah.
So it's funny that you rent your clothes.
Yeah, I can't keep up with the trends.
Yeah. And it's a weight on you.
I like minimalism.
Right? Yeah.
I wear a lot of like monochromatic clothing, like white to black spectrum, maybe some beiges, but I'm pretty simple, and it makes my life feel good because I have so many things going on that if you just add stuff, it feels heavy.
It owns you. You don't own it, right?
Forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you 100%. So that's a lesson that the viewers and listeners could take. So you're killing it at Nordstrom's. You graduate.
Yeah, I graduate, and I have an 8-year career in cancer and genetics. So I was a business major at SC with a concentration in nature of human health and disease. Always loved health and nutrition.
So you weren't that smart.
I mean, actually, I would say I'm like a B or B plus student.
Really?
I'm a flashcard girl. I worked my ass off to get the grades that I got, but what I think I do really well, and I've been able to make it my career, is to take really complicated science and make it accessible for my clients. My clientele is not, I wouldn't say it's the group, like the 10% of people that are obsessed with health and nutrition and are like the people here at this conference, or they love fashion and they love, I don't know, like they're into their careers, maybe it's PR or whatever, and I'm making that part of their life easy for them.
Kind of like Rent the Runway
I'm
does for you.
simplifying it. Yeah. So I simplify the science for them. I make it accessible. I use a lot of analogies, and that allows them to be successful for themselves, because the minute you know the science or you're educated, then you're self-motivated. Right. And I think, when it comes to reading a diet book or trying to keep up with that stuff, if they don't really love it and they're not passionate about it, and only the end goal is to get rid of migraines, get rid of acne, or lose 5 pounds, they really have to understand a little bit of the science for it to become a lifestyle.
Because those are just symptoms of something else going on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Why don't we take a break? We'll go to the laboratory, Kelly's laboratory, and you could find out all the things wrong with me, and then we'll come back for the second half of the show. Is that cool?
Sounds good.
All right, let's do it.
All right, Spartans, we will be right back to this great episode. We want to take a second to talk about our sponsor, Tiger Balm. Now, when we did the Baton Memorial Death March out at White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico with the Colonel, Joe, myself, Frank Grippy, Erica Walker, Marion, the whole team was there. And, your brother, Joe Nye.
My brother joined us.
And all thanks to this wonderful gentleman's idea, we all got to carry
35-pound rucks.
Civilian heavy, 35-pound rucks.
Or heavier.
Or heavier.
Frank,
or 20-pound sack of beans. And all I can tell you is before we went out into that beautiful landscape, it smelled like a camphor cave.
It did.
Here at the house.
Because Tiger Balm's got 3 different products, right? And
yeah.
you got the pre-rub,
Yep.
And I tell you what, I
Rub it
pre-rubbed up because it was nice and cool in the morning, and I knew I was going to need
We
it.
know you did.
No, I had it on because I knew I was going to need it. And
Yep.
I had it in my thighs, the back of my knees, my calves, all those places that were going to hurt. And as soon as we got back, or actually during the race, I was using the spray.
Yep.
And what's great is, as I walked, people would say, man, somebody's got Tiger Balm on. They could smell it coming.
It's a classic. You know, people know it works.
Well, that smell evokes memories, right?
Right.
And you just, if your mother's cooking pasta in the kitchen or whatever, it evokes a great memory.
The bolognese.
And Tiger Balm has that.
Yeah, it sure does. And how'd you feel at the beginning of that march? Did it help you warm you up? You feel good?
I felt a lot better at the beginning than at the end. I'll say that.
All right, so if you guys want to find some Tiger Balm, check out your local CVS, Rite Aid, or you can go to their website.
TigerBalm.com/US.
See that? And they like to say, you know, pain
happens.
It happens. It happened the other day. And but suffering, our dear good friends, is optional. So let's get back to that episode.
So it looks like I'm not going to survive?
You'll be just fine, Joe.
I'll be fine?
Yeah.
All right, good. So so you did 8 years, right, in school.
I worked a career in cancer and genetics for 8 years.
Got it.
So I had a corporate job.
Got it.
Uh-huh.
But it was like school.
Yeah, no, you're learning constantly. I mean, chief medical officers, and you have to keep up with the studies, which really helped my career now because I'm mining PubMed research, and
which is easy for you.
I'm passionate about it,
right.
And turning the research around and being able to simplify it in 2 sentences for an MD to then implement it in their practice, a radiation oncologist, a medical oncologist. And so when it came to starting my side hustle, Be Well by Kelly, I'd sit down with clients. I had mined the PubMed or Google Scholar for nutrition-based studies, and then would turn around and be able to explain it to them, and they could implement it.
That's awesome.
So
you had started this while you had 1 foot in and 1 foot out.
So it was in 2012 that I started Be Well by Kelly as a side hustle, and I'm sure all my friends just thought I had a fun new hobby.
And then when did it start to stick?
I didn't take it full time until 2015.
Wow. Okay.
So I worked nights, I worked weekends, and my cancer and genetics role, I was sometimes in scrubs. So I'd be at a hospital like Cedars-Sinai, and I would go across the street to the Coffee Bean, change into jeans and a blazer, and meet a client during lunch, sit down with them to talk about nutrition, hope that my, boss at the time didn't know that I was doing it.
Put on scrubs.
Put my scrubs on, go back to the hospital, and do my real job. The same thing happened at nights and on the weekends. A lot of it in the beginning I did for free for testimonials and to get to know.
To see if you were good at it.
Yeah,
right?
to get to know if I liked it and and see how I could change people's lives.
And then between midnight and 5 a.m. you wrote a book.
Yeah, well, it's crazy because the minute you go from having a salary, a 401k, a company car, to being an hourly employee and making a quarter of what you were making before,
sure.
You kind of go, wow, I need another form of income here. And that was something that I learned in business school at SC, was that the majority of really successful entrepreneurs in Los Angeles had over 5 streams of income. And they could be all under the same company umbrella, but maybe that's product and maybe that's speaking engagements or whatever.
Sure.
So I knew I needed to diversify. I knew I wanted to reach more people. So I cold emailed about a dozen agents in New York, literary agents.
What year was this?
This was September of 2015, and I left my.
You said, I want to write a book.
I left the job September 1st, and that November I was on a flight to New York, and I had heard back from like 2 of the 12 agents.
Right.
And then one of them ended up not even being able to meet with me. And so the one I met with ended up being my agent. And
you got a deal.
I got a deal, and my second book comes out in January.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
And the books obviously did well, or you wouldn't have had a second book.
That's what I hear.
But also the book forces you to really hone in on what your message is, right? I mean, it's hard to write. At least hard for me. I'm not as smart as you.
No. I mean, it definitely does. I'm pretty formulaic, and I'm minimalist, and I like to. I don't know. I like systems.
Tell me about this book. You write this book about smoothies.
Yeah. So the book is the idea for the book came about because I saw that so many smoothies in the marketplace were full of sugar, right? You know, even like the all fruit smoothies at specific smoothie locations like a Jamba Juice or something were coming in above 30 grams of sugar. It just was a blood sugar spike and a crash that caused really a lot of unpredictable hunger for people and cravings.
So people don't realize that are out there listening, if you take in a bunch of sugar,
your blood sugar is going to spike. About 90 minutes later, it starts to crash, and you start to get those cravings at about 90 minutes if you've gone up really high. Insulin's flooding your bloodstream. It's pulling that sugar into liver, muscles, you know,
and you're more hungry.
And you're crashing, and so you're even more hungry, and what your body is craving is more sugar to bring yourself back up. And so what ends up happening is people have like these
cycles.
Perpetuating craving, like the cravings just keep continuing. And so what I found in the research was, you know, you have over 8 hunger-related hormones, and they're all regulated by different things, like the stretching of your stomach, protein, fat, you know, fiber specifically. And so what I wanted to do was make sure that not only were these smoothies blood sugar balancing, but that they actually turned off your hunger, because a lot of times a smoothie, people think of it as a snack, and we need to stop snacking. We need to eat meals to satiety, to make ourselves feel full, be able to go the hours between meals without crashing so that we can focus. And so I wanted to create a tool for clients to do that. And it just so happens protein, fat, fiber like chia, flax, and leafy greens or, you know, vegetables do a really good job of turning off hunger. So I created the Fab 4 smoothie and then extrapolated that into meals. And all I do is ask my clients to look at their plate. It's a positively reinforcing tool. Do you have protein? Okay, check. Do I have some form of healthy fat? Avocado, olive oil, nuts, seeds. Do I have some form of fiber like non-starchy vegetables, broccoli, cucumber, if you're doing smoothies, chia and flax, and then, you know, leafy greens like spinach or kale or whatever. And it's amazing because it's become sort of a lifestyle for people where they don't have an eat and do not eat list. They're not on something for a specific period of time and breaking their diet. It isn't really as detail oriented as like a keto where you might be testing your blood or your urine. I've used those tools with clients before, but even when you're living a keto lifestyle, I still ask my clients to look for the Fab 4 because your body needs it. Like, you essentially need amino acids, you need fatty acids, and the fiber and greens piece really keeps your gut microbiome proliferating and healthy in an anti-inflammatory state. So it's kind of, instead of thinking like, oh, I can't have this and I can't have that, I'm really about like, just look at your meal. Do you have the 4 things? Great. Check.
Just make it simple.
And you make it simple, and so then it's doable. And the same goes for smoothies, and I know that people aren't having these sugar bombs that are inflammatory, but instead going, okay, like what protein powder do I want? If you're vegan, you can do pea-based protein. If you're interested in your skin, you know, like, and you love skin health, you might do collagen, or you might do a grass-fed beef protein or a whey protein. You know, you can pick based on your lifestyle, and these are it's just light structure to make it easy for people who aren't obsessed with health.
So you're obviously extremely organized, extremely tight, and smart. Give us 4 things. Like, let's do a Fab 4 for Spartans for life. Like what are the 4 things that are going to transform your life? One, I guess, would be let's kill the sugar.
Absolutely. Like, you shouldn't be eating anything with added sugar nowadays. It's and I think Melissa Hartwig has done a really good job of creating the Whole30, because now there are Whole30 stamps on things, and that's something that, you know, I don't do Whole30s, but I know that those products are clean, and that's really helpful. There's a lot of tools, like even the Thrive Market guys, the fact that you can search by paleo or Whole30, you know you're cutting the sugar. It's easy, and it's now affordable, which is great.
Sure.
So no sugar. Another thing that I would say is, like, if you're passionate about something, start a side hustle. Because I can't even tell you how many times I've convinced friends to go after something that they're really passionate about. It becomes their full-time job. They double their income, or they, you know, provide for their family in a new way that is really fulfilling, because we are only here once. Like, sure. Or maybe you believe you're here multiple times. And if so, great, do it every time you're here. But I really am truly passionate about that. I think...
So kill the sugar, side hustle.
Yeah. It's about the relationships. Like, I think about, I had amazing grandparents, and I think about, you know, just the love that I had from them really prioritizing your family and your close friends that are your family.
Hard to do if you're running a business.
It's really hard to do. It's something that I struggle with all the time, especially because I left a career that afforded me the time to see my family all the time, and now I'm traveling and hustling. But any chance I can any chance I have to like bring my family along or prioritize them, I try to do that, or at least keep it at top of mind, because no one's going to really remember that I had this, maybe they'll remember I had this business, but it's all about those relationships.
You're better than me, because I gave up a lot of stuff to build a business, and you do regret it.
Yeah.
You regret it, but like it's hard to balance it all.
It's honestly just like checking in again and again and again, because it's almost like the mom guilt for me. I have a 5-month-old son,
Nice.
So just putting my time into the business, I have to remind myself he's going to be really proud of me.
Yeah.
I'm going to provide a better life for him, but then knowing when to pull back.
And was that 4? Did we get 4? We got sugar. We got what were the 4?
I think I have a 4th left.
Good.
For me, it's being active. Like I grew up playing soccer and running track, and it's my meditation. I know a lot of people have a meditation practice.
It's my meditation. At least now there's another normal person out there.
Yeah, I just need. My husband jokes that I'm like a golden retriever. Like I won't lay down or relax until I've worked out, and that's when my mind is quiet.
Yeah.
When I'm so tired and I've run my body down.
Exactly the same way.
Then Then I'll breathe deeply and take it down a notch.
You know what I started doing? You might like this if we're similar in this way. Is I can meditate. My mother was teaching meditation in the 70s, and I just never. It was hokey. I'm not interested. But when I go on a long run or I'm working out hard, I'm sweating. That's like meditative for me, which it sounds like for you.
Yeah.
And only after I just go to complete exhaustion do I feel like great, right?
Yeah.
But here's what I've been doing now. I meditate before I go to bed, and I literally pass out. It's fantastic.
Okay.
So you might want to try that.
I would love to. I love the tip.
Yeah.
I'll give it a go.
And you wake up, you're done.
Perfect. Perfect. I like it.
You just fit more in your day. But this was awesome. And how would people find out about you or find
I share a lot online at Be Well by Kelly.
Cool.
That's my Instagram handle, my website. Yep.
Go check it out. And you're sure I'm okay, like based on the...
You'll be okay.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Thanks. See ya.
I mean, I think it's easy. Fab 4, like, we're the Fab 4, right? We got protein, fat, I'm just joking, fiber, greens.
Greens.
We're so good.
I'll take greens.
Yeah, she makes it easy. That's what it's all about. Just making goodness easy.
Yeah.
She had a lot of energy when I interviewed her. She, what struck with me was this idea that she was working in the hospital and then would run out and go do her new job, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was willing to do that side hustle and put in the time. And I think a lot of that came too, though. You asked her about her upbringing. She said, I actually had a really great upbringing, not a lot of hardship, except that, and I think this is brilliant, her parents told her young, look, at 18, you're on your own. Like, we love you, we're always going to be there for you, but, like, you are on your own at 18. And what she say, she, as a teenager, worked at her dad's a towing yard for minimum wage, saved up enough money to buy a car from her dad's towing yard. Dad owns a towing yard. He's still not giving her a free car.
Auction.
Yeah,
She's
had outbid
18 years
somebody
old
else.
and going to an auction. That's pretty
love
cool.
auction.
But we look at all the things we try and do for our kids. We try so hard to give them the advantages and the opportunities and all these things. And I do think, and I'm guilty of it certainly, where sometimes that's to their detriment, for sure, to not leave the challenges in front of them.
What do you think?
Well, I agree with you. But another thing that really struck me was how I think it was so honest that she talked about how hard it is to leave her 5-month-old at home while she is out running and hustling and working so hard, because it will provide a better life for her kids in the future. And I see that so much with everyone, but that struck me because I see that with Joe firsthand. He gives up so much for the business, and just to have that success, it's hard. You can't do everything.
Sure.
So,
and I'll share that being here on the business side of it, it's great to see him say, yeah, I know this is important. I got to go out here and check on Charlie's wrestling, or I got to go talk to my girls. I got to go see them next door. So it's a total balance.
I know,
isn't
or
it?
I have to go buy Courtney flowers. It's so hard. It's so,
That's a matter of fact. We would probably have more net income if I wasn't running around so much and buying you flowers.
It's true.
Sure,
it is true. Sorry,
so you're
guys.
expensing the flowers. Let's make sure the IRS doesn't hear that.
I
Thanks a lot, Johnny.
I meant to say we would do better as a company because I'd be working more.
So you know what? The other thing that I loved about Kelly, and we talked about simplicity, is if you listen to her speak, she speaks succinctly, calmly, straightforward. She doesn't use big words. I read a great thing a while ago. It was an analysis of Richard Branson, of Bill Gates, and of Steve Jobs. And the language they use, it is not complicated language. These are incredibly intelligent people who use very simple language. And I really noticed that with Kelly. She just made everything sound easy.
Yeah.
And she said, the value I bring is I make people's lives simple. Like I love that she rents her clothes. She goes,
I love that too.
Isn't that
I was
terrific?
going to say that. I love that she just likes to keep everything minimal and monochromatic and doesn't want to have a lot of stuff.
And so this company, Rent the Runway, the reason it's successful is they take the stress out of your wardrobe. She takes the stress out of people's diets, right? Like she's like, hey, I'm going to make it really simple. Here are
4 ingredients.
4 ingredients. We're going to make sure they're in balance. We're going to make sure they're always available to you. And I'm going to do the thinking for you. And, when you look at how you get paid, how you bring value to people, how you are successful, it's can you make somebody else's life easier? Can you make somebody else's life better? And she does it really well. So
I think, speaking of simplicity, right? If you talk about Sir Branson, I actually had the privilege of working for them, and that man literally owns like one swim trunk and one shirt. Like he wears the same thing every day. There's no pretension about it. And what does that do? Gives him time to have everyone who's on his island go sail around the moonlight or do a 40-mile kiteboard or whatever, because that's not even a focus, right? What are the things that you don't need to waste your time on?
It is a waste of time.
It's a waste of
It
time.
is.
So get some of those
you
things
need
nailed
is
down.
a Spartan race, 4 ingredients, and
Chapstick.
Chapstick.
You do.
that sounds like a great philosophy.
And it's true. That's it. Chapstick.
All right, with that, what do we need? We need them to subscribe. We need them to comment.
Yeah. You know what? Here's a great comment. She has these simple, awesome smoothies. What are simple, awesome smoothies that either you have or you want to find out about? Just tell us something that you can share with us or that you want to share with you. What's your favorite smoothie?
You want to know why? Because there's a quote that says, "No one cares how much you know until you know how much people care." So,
Which
do you guys care?
Ties right into
Come
the
on.
4 ingredients in the comments. So we'll talk to you soon.
Well
We
said.
care about
Yeah.
you.
I love you, Sefra. You're so great.
This episode of Spartan Up is brought to you by Tiger Balm Active. Trust Tiger Balm Active for proven pain relief. Get new Tiger Balm Active in gel, rub, and convenient spray.
Or look for Tiger Balm Active at select CVS and Rite Aid locations. Pain happens.
Suffering is optional.